I think we're going to go ahead and start. It is 7:01. This is the May meeting of the Mira Mesa Community Planning Group. I'm Jeff Stevens, chair of the planning group. We will start with non-agenda public comments. I had a couple of requests. Michaela Volk asked to give her report at this point since she has another commitment. So Michaela represents Mayor Gloria. So go ahead, Michaela.
Thank you, Jeff. Good evening. My name is Michaela Volk, and I'm Mayor Todd Gloria's Director of Community Engagement. I think this is the first time I'm at the planning board this year. I had some staffing shortages. I may have been here January. So I was representing council districts 5 through 9 and had a lot of conflicts. And then I got sick a couple times. So thank you for your patience. And sorry I wasn't able to attend. I've been keeping in communication with Jeff and Barry for the town council. I've been able to go to a couple meetings, but I'm always available and accessible via email, via phone. I don't have any Mira Mesa specific items to report this evening, but tonight's a big night for the budget. The city council has their evening public comment, public meeting where a lot of people, since it's after 6, attend in person, virtually, to give their feedback on the budget so far. I know I provided the information last month, but the mayor's budget is entitled Ready to Rebuild. A lot of the infrastructure has been neglected by the prior administration, and that's our focus for this budget, including stormwater, including our roads, parks and recreation. So if I know those are important to Mira Mesa, and Councilmember Kate will have his own budget hearing, but just to make sure that community members vocalize that those are priorities as well. Additionally, we get a lot of contacts about public safety and homelessness. The mayor does intend to fully fund the police for all the resources that they need and all other law enforcement agencies. We're currently in negotiations with the unions for salary. And so once that's finalized, we'll have the final budget amount. Additionally, for homelessness, we're increasing funding for additional shelter, capacity services, and coordinated street outreach. That's it for my report this evening. The May revise is coming out tomorrow, so I'll be able to provide the new items to Jeff to share with the board as well. Happy to take any questions. I know I'm not non-agenda, so I don't know if questions are allowed, but thank you again.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Michaela. If anyone does have any urgent questions, I will allow it. But I don't hear any, so thank you very much. And I will look forward to what you send me tomorrow. Okay, anyone who has non-agenda public comment, could you please raise your hand? You do that by, if you click on the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, you will see a raise hand icon. I see 2. First one is from Becky Rapp. You're muted, Becky.
Hi, good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I'm a parent and a community member, and I come here to update you on a few things that are happening at the city that we're excited about as parents, but also concerned. The first thing is that San Diego City Council did just pass a flavored tobacco ban. This will go into effect in January of 2023. And as parents, we would love to see this flavored tobacco ban to go a step further and have the city present a flavored marijuana ban, as this is a parallel comparison, marijuana to tobacco in terms of the playbook and the advertising to youth. The city's #1 reason for banning flavored tobacco was because of youth use, and all of the candy and candy flavored puffs and bars that they could use, which are exactly similar to to flavored marijuana. As the city moves forward with its marijuana ordinance, they are offering 8 listening sessions for input on the cannabis equity component of this ordinance. And I would just highly recommend that you, as community members, take advantage of this opportunity to voice your concerns and raise your opinions. There are 8 of them. One of them is virtual, which is convenient. It's been the talk in other communities such as Southeastern, City Heights. They have all spoken out clearly that they do not want these businesses in their communities, as they are detrimental to the public's health and safety. So keeping that in mind, I just encourage you to attend, and I will drop in the list of those listening sessions. Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Next is Susan Hilton.
Hey, I'm just a community member that wanted to kind of give an update on something that I understand that another group talked about, the accessory dwelling units, which are separate detached units that can be built on properties. We have a neighbor that is building an accessory dwelling unit, and apparently, and I was not aware until I started looking into this, the city council has given permission essentially for 0 setbacks. And so we have a neighbor trying to put the form for the property of his new building, the construction form. At first, he put it over the property line. It cost us a significant amount of money to have a survey done to prove where the property line is. The neighbor, who has not been communicative at all, and we have not been able to communicate, and people in the doing the construction deny that they're not contractors, they're not related, they're not the owner, supposedly. So there's no real contact. We looked at the permit, but they're essentially, they ripped up the tree that was along the property line first, and then they dug their forms over the property line. It cost us a significant amount to prove the property line, and now they've moved their form, but they're still trying to put the wall to a house that is actually bigger than the initial house on the property. Right. So the house on the property is a 1,000 square foot house, and they're building a second house in the backyard with 0 setbacks. So we're having to now essentially be in contact with the police department about trespass onto our property, on the rear of our property, as they try to do their construction. We may have to put up a surveillance camera. And so it's a significant problem because the city has granted a permit, given permission, the inspectors have come out and started to give, different types of approvals. But we're essentially looking at them building a wall right on top of the property line. And it's extremely frustrating. And I just don't think that people in the community are fully aware of the changes. We also have concerns because we have are on the opposite side of the fence from where they're constructing. We are a downslope embankment from them. And so we have concerns about, as over time that embankment erodes, these structural integrities and things like that, that we're not clear have been addressed. And so I realize that somebody has come and talked to you about the accessory dwelling unit situation previously. But I just want people to realize that 0 setback means that the city is granting permits to build walls to buildings on your property line. And in the rear of the property and the side of the property, that is what is essentially being allowed. And so we're just finding this quite shocking that we don't feel that the city is protecting us, and that this sort of thing is just phenomenal to us that it's even allowed.
Thank you, Susan. Yeah, I think we're going to hear a lot of this. the fact that the city allows these with 0 setbacks is one of the issues that came up that the neighborhoods for a better San Diego, I think they were called.
Right, they have a petition to file with the city to kind of stop some of this or put an injunction for a little bit, but you know, we're already incurring costs and we're gonna have to incur significant time and effort to make sure that they're not, I mean, there's already construction supplies. They've dug a trench on our property that now has to be filled. They have things piled up against our solely owned, not shared fence. So we already have a significant amount of damages because the city is giving them permission to be right on the property line. And, you know, it's troubling.
Yeah, thank you. I sympathize. As I say, I think we're going to hear a lot of these. You know, the city, I don't think thought these things completely through in their regulations, because when you put something right on the property line.
Right, we're actually
We've always
questioning
had
whether
these
the city
kinds
may
of
be partially
issues.
liable for, you know, this sort of thing, because it's essentially granting them permission to maintain their property. They're gonna have to come on our property and we don't want to allow that. So, you know, it kind of gives them this like, well, we have a permit. That's what we've been told by the workers. Oh, we have a permit, and that's all they'll talk to us. That's all they'll say.
Jeff,
Yeah.
if I could just quickly insert myself, Susan, if you'd
Yes,
like to
please.
follow up with Councilmember Kate's office, they can connect you with code enforcement.
I've already had code enforcement.
Maybe I'll
And-
give you my email. I know because we're going over non-agenda, and then we can get in touch just to make sure code enforcement is following up if there is violations of the code.
I encourage you to work with Michaela. She can work wonders. So. Okay, thank you.
Susan, I was going to ask one question. What part of Mira Mesa are you in?
I'm in the area that's just north of Challenger.
Pick your street, is that Parkdale, Martinique?
We live on Canyon Mesa and the neighbor is behind us on Windsong.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go on to adopting the previous meeting minutes. So Andrew was kind enough to do secretary today since Tiffany is out of town. I'll use this just to get the roll also. So Andrew, will you please call the roll, and as he calls your name, please tell you whether you approve the minutes.
Kent Lee.
Kent is here. Kent?
You're on mute, Kent.
No problem. I may have missed what just happened because I am knocking
Oh,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
door at the moment. So,
Do you approve the minutes from last meeting?
oh yes, I do. Thank you.
Okay. And this is Andrew. I approve. Lilith,
Yes, I approve.
Ian Kerman,
I approve.
Craig Jackson,
I approve.
Ralph Carolyn,
Ralph's here.
I approve.
John Labaugh,
I don't see John.
okay, Joe Frickel,
I approve, but is it possible to move my name up to the top of the list?
sure. Barry Voss,
I approve.
Jeff Stevens,
Approve.
Dorothy Lorenz,
Dorothy's not here.
Keith Flitner,
I don't see Keith.
Craig Radke,
I did not attend, so I'll have to abstain.
okay, Julia Schreiber,
I approve.
Harkishan,
I approve.
Tiffany's not here, Marvin Miles,
Here, and I approve, and I want to be ahead of Joe Frischel. So,
I'm sorry, what?
never mind. It's a
Sorry.
joke. It's a joke.
Justin,
I left early, so I have to abstain as well.
abstain, okay. Mike Linton,
Approved.
I think that's it, Jeff.
Okay, thank you. We clearly have a quorum, so minutes are adopted. Also, I emailed the annual report to all of the members of the planning group. Did anyone have any corrections or additions to the annual report? So hearing none, I'm going to assume it's okay, and I'm going to send that off to the city. For anyone who didn't read it, we're required every year to do a summary of our actions over the past year in a particular format that the city likes. And so I put that together by going through the minutes. All right. We do have a business member vacancy. Craig Radke is still a member this month, but his company that he's been representing, Meridian Auto, is moving out of Mira Mesa, so he won't be able to represent them anymore. So I want to thank Craig for his service on the planning group. He's been here a long time. It's been a very productive member, and he's going to continue to be Pam's alternate on the Penasitas Canyon Citizens Advisory Committee, even though he's had to go off of the planning group. But that does leave us with an opening for a business member. So if anyone knows of a good replacement, someone who can represent a business in Mira Mesa, please point them to me. We'll go on to report of the chair, start with communications. Okay, first one is I received a message from one of our members that it can be difficult to make a decision on a project after a short presentation, and suggested that we split the all of our action items over 2 meetings, have one which we hear the item and then a second one at which we approve it. We actually used to do things that way, and it does take a lot of the pressure off when you're not when you don't feel pressured to make a decision after just a short presentation. The reason we stopped doing it is largely because of the Brown Act. The Brown Act says that we have to identify an item as an action item in order to make a motion on it. So the problem is that if we do things that way, then even simple items that come before us, we have to push over to the second meeting. We can't approve them at the original meeting. Now, the way we used to do things is that we would schedule things for a meeting with one meeting with a presentation and then a second one for an action item. But if it were a simple thing, then we would promote that to an action item and act on it immediately. The problem is we can't do that anymore. So what I've been doing instead is listing things as action items. We do always have the option to postpone an item, postpone action on an item to another month. But once something's scheduled for an action item, we tend not to do that and to try to act on it immediately. So one thing that will help, I will make a point of distributing all the materials that I have on items before the meetings, so everyone will have as much information as I do. So the question is, though, do people want to do that, to go back to the way we were doing it and scheduling a presentation followed by an action at the following meeting? Let's see, Craig.
Jeff, I think that if the issue is simple and you do provide the information in advance, we should simply treat it as an action item at the time. If there are questions that can be raised at that time, then we defer it by a vote of the planning committee, and thus proceed as expeditiously as possible, but do not compromise our ability to look more deeply if that's required.
Okay. That makes sense to me. I think, as I say, I'll make sure I get people all the information that I have prior to each meeting. And we do just need to remember that we're never, well, not never, usually we're not forced to make a decision immediately. Sometimes there will be, say, a planning commission coming up in a week before we get the item, where they have to have our input. So there are some times when, even if it's uncomfortable, we have to act immediately. But for most items, we don't need to do that. And if anything looks complicated, we can defer the action to the next meeting, and we can form a subcommittee to look into it. Okay, going on, mail. Quite a bit of mail this month. There's a virtual community plan group orientation workshop on June 6th. This is intended for new planning group members. Most of you took the COW or the ECOW when you joined the group. Anyone who hasn't done that is required to go to this meeting. So I'm pretty sure everyone has, but anyone who has not attended the ECOW, please let me know immediately and I'll get you the information on that event. And if you want to go to a live event, you're of course welcome to also. On May 24th, there's a Los Penasquitos Canyon outdoor classroom public meeting. What that is they're going to build a small amphitheater near the ranch house. And they're looking for input on that. So that's the first public meeting. I received notification of a project on Rock Canyon Drive. This one adds an ADU actually in their front yard. It's in their front and side yard. It's a large, oddly shaped lot. Again, under the new ADU regulations, most of these don't even have to come to us. They're basically allowed by right, and all the applicant has to do is go through the building permit. But some of them, for various reasons, will trigger a review by the planning group, and this one I think we will see. There was also notification of a project at 7720 Kennemar Court, rezoned from IL2 to IL3. It appears that the purpose is to expand the area that's allowable for restaurant uses. So Keith Fletcher didn't come in, did he? No, I think he works in that building. So. Okay. So there's also a copy of a letter from Brett Feuerstein, who asked for increased police enforcement of flash mob style car clubs that are descending on shopping center and other properties. A lot of us have heard those. They've been much more active recently. We see plans for the Sprint CUP renewal on Cayo Cristobal. That's on the agenda tonight. Assessment letter for the Rock and Jump CUP extension renewal, which was approved last month. And the first assessment letter for a project at 10394 Pacific Center Court. This is a permit, a coastal development permit and plan development permit amendment for a lot line adjustment to exclude a portion of the lot from the coastal zone and to demolish an existing structure on the new lot. So I'm sure we'll be seeing that one. And finally, notice of application for an 80,000 square foot trucking and transportation terminal, 9500 Kearney Mesa Road. That's one that we actually had temporarily on the agenda last month, but it got postponed. Another thing that often happens is I'll get a notification from the planning department that a project is coming up and they want our input by some date that's usually ridiculously soon, which is the reason I put that one on the agenda last month. But then I got an email from the applicant saying we're not nearly ready yet. So, okay, so that's my chairman's report. We'll go on to old business. Community plan update, Alex.
Good evening, everyone. Alex Frost, project manager for the Mira Mesa Community Plan Update. Today we had the Mira Mesa Community Plan Update Advisory Committee meeting, and discussion was around the community discussion draft, and special focus on parks and recreation and community plan implementation overlay zone and supplemental development regulations included in the community discussion draft. If you'd like to take a look, please visit planmiramesa.org. And we are taking community input and refinement to the proposed vision, goals, and policies for next several months. And we'll incorporate any feasible input and release the draft plan in summer 2022. And also draft program environmental impact report is in the works. So we'd like to release that together. So that's the current schedule. There is another meeting in June 20th, and the meeting will focus on the mobility technical report. So report based on all the modeling results and additional analysis related to mobility. So walking, biking, transit and driving, and school capacity analysis based on the plan build out. So that will be next month's meeting. Thanks.
Any questions for Alex? We gave him a lot of them at the meeting we just had. Are there any more? Okay, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
I got a message from the owner of the San Diego Ice Arena saying he's interested in the business position. I think that's great. If I can, I'd be happy to put that on the agenda for next month. I can't see your name though. It looks like it starts with Phil. Can you identify yourself?
Yes, my name is Philip Linton. I'm with the San Diego Ice Arena. You know that most probably. We're up in just behind Galvin. And if it's available, I can step into the business position. Thank you.
Good. I think we need to wait a month so that we can, advertise this in case anyone else wants to do it. But yeah, I think it'd be a fine addition to the planning group. So I will add you to the agenda for confirmation next month. If anyone else applies, then we can modify that. But otherwise, we'll take care of that simply. So thank you. Okay. So the street sweeping presentation is postponed until next month. So we'll go on to Ted Shaw project at 5656 and 5677 Oberlin Drive.
Thank you. Can I have a presentation? Can I?
Yes, let me just give you permission here. Okay.
Let's see. All right. Nice. I trust everyone can see that.
Yes.
Excellent. As announced, I'm Ted Shaw. I'm with the Atlantis Group. I want to thank you for putting me on the agenda for this week. I have with me, I believe, Ken Buck, who represents the owner, and I have Greg McClure from Delaware and Kim Cantrude from my office as well. The project that we're looking at is for a neighborhood development permit. It is located at the corner of Oberlin Drive and Youngstown Way. The image is down at the bottom right-hand corner. The existing development is two-story buildings that total about 32,000 square feet and surface parking. The site is designated industrial in the existing Mira Mesa plan and technology park in the discussion draft that was released last week. Additionally, the area is shown as prime industrial lands in the city's general plan. The site has an IL2 zone on it, which is an industrial zone. It's also covered by the city's airport land use compatibility overlay zone and by the MCAS Miramar land use plan, and it is in the accident potential zone 2. Here is our proposed site plan. We like to use the landscape plan. You can see we've located the building on the east side near the intersection of Youngstown and Oberlin, with surface parking on the west half. The new parking lot will comply with all of the city's landscape ordinance, as well as the cities and states stormwater requirements. The project will be a 2-story building. I've got 2 elevations for you here. The north elevation faces Oberlin. The west elevation faces into the parking lot. The entire area around this property has been developed with, we'll call them industrial buildings, but they're various uses. The intent is to have this be a R&D life science user at a point in the future. Just some basic information for you. Because we're in accident potential zone 2, there's a maximum number of people per acre that we are allowed, because we have almost an acre and a fourth, or excuse me, 1.4 acres. We're allowed 69 people on the property. The rest of that math is that by right, projects are allowed in the R&D category to have up to 300 square feet of usable area, plus a 10% allowance for mechanical non-habitable space. We are allowed through the city's land development code to request a neighborhood development permit to exceed that 300 square foot limit. The project that we are proposing has a total of 36,758 square feet. The project is, or the square footage is divided up in 2 areas. There's 33,691 square feet, because math matters, which is approximately 488 square feet per person. There is just over 3,000 square feet of mechanical non-habitable area. And we are providing 73 parking spaces. And as I mentioned earlier, landscaping consistent with the current standards. We are requesting the group's support for the project based upon compliance with the existing community plan, the land use designation for the update, the general plan, prime industrial lands, the underlying IL2 zone, compliance with compatibility overlay zone, and the MCAS Miramar land use plan. And with that, I would be happy to take questions or provide input on a motion.
Can you just explain again why you need the neighborhood development permit? It sounded from what you said like you were going from 300 to 33,000 square feet. I know that can't be right. So what, explain that again.
Okay, that is not right. So the by right is allowed up to 300 square feet per person. We are requesting to exceed that to 488 square feet per person for a total building size of 36,758.
Okay, so you've got just a little more room inside for the same number of people.
Yes, we will be conditioned for 69 people as the maximum people on site.
All right, I saw Kirsten here. Kirsten, do you have any comments?
No, no comments from Miramar.
You're okay with this?
Yeah, I don't have any issue. They're well within what the ACUS recommends as far as people per acre, so no concerns.
Okay, are there questions?
Jeff, I move that we recommend that this go forward.
A motion from Craig Jackson to go forward. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Jeff.
Second from Joe Frickle. We might as well do this formally. So Andrew, go ahead and call the roll on this one.
Sorry, I had to unmute. Okay, let's see here. Just 1 second. I only have one mouse. Hold on 1 sec. Ken Lee,
Approved.
I approve. Lil Nover,
Can I be added to the end? I don't like to be at the beginning.
okay.
Please.
Ian Kerman,
Approve.
Craig Jackson, he made the
Approve.
motion. Ralph Carolyn,
I approve.
Joe's absent. I'm sorry, John is absent. Joe seconded the motion. I assume you approve.
Definitely.
Barry Voss,
Approve.
Jeff Stevens.
Approve.
Has Dorothy joined us yet?
No,
Okay. Has Keith joined us yet?
no,
Craig Radke,
Approve.
Julius Schreiber,
Approve.
Harkishan,
Approve.
Tiffany's absent. Marvin Miles,
Approve.
Justin is
Approve.
Mike Clinton.
Approved.
Going back to Lilith.
Approve.
okay, it's unanimous. So thank you very much for the presentation. It looks like a nice improvement over what's there at that location.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
And stop sharing, please. Thank you. All right, do we have Mark Phillips here from the for the Sprint CUP renewal? Or anyone else? All right, well, we will postpone that one until later then, unless they show up very soon. All right, elected officials. So I don't see anyone here from Congressman Peters' office. I think I saw Diana Lara here. Diana?
Hi, yes, I'm here. Hi, everyone. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties. Thank you for having me this evening. Not too many updates. We are in May, which is all about the budget. The governor just released his May revised last Friday. Unfortunately, our office still does remain closed to the public, but we will be moving shortly and having office hours in a new location. So once we have confirmed our move and our new office hours, I'll make sure to let you know, and you can pass along to the Mira Mesa community, which we're very excited for the possibility of having folks back in our office again. And we are still working around the clock on EDD cases. We've closed around 5,000 cases and counting, and we can still assist. So if community members are owed back pay from 2020 or 2021 or earlier this year, we are still able to be an advocate and assist receiving those funds. So if any community members are still in need or owed money from EDD, please let me know. I will leave my email in the chat. And we're still doing other casework as well, assisting folks with DMV or consumer affairs. So any state-related issue, please let me know. And that is all I have for you today. Thank you for having me.
Any questions for Diana, for Senator Atkins? Okay, thank you very much. Let's see, I don't see Rob here. For the supervisors, yes. Amanda Berry.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
There we go. Hi, good to see you all. Again, my name is Amanda Berry. I'm here representing Supervisor Tara Lawson-Reamer from the county. And I have a few updates, some specific to the epicenter, but some that are exciting about climate change, and you know the supervisor cares a lot about climate change. And it's really made our fire season longer and drier. And that's why the county is taking steps to make sure that we're better prepared with wildfires. Last month, we purchased a new dual-engined helicopter that can carry more water to fight wildfires. The helicopter is also going to have the capacity to fly day or night, which gives firefighters that invaluable eye in the sky to battle blazes 24/7. And there are helpful tips that you can take right now to help prepare for a fire. And I'll put those in the chat if you haven't seen them already. And speaking of big news, the region just took a big step to make it easier and more affordable to use transit. As of May 1st, all youth in the San Diego region can ride public transit for free. The Youth Opportunity Pass is funded by SANDAG with support from the County of San Diego, so that young people can get to school, their jobs, and other places at no cost. So that's for anyone 18 and under who's eligible for all transit in San Diego County. That includes the bus, the trolley, the coaster, and the Sprinter. And all you need to know is that youth will need a Youth Pronto app, account or card, and proof of eligibility to ride MTS and North County Transit District services for free. The pilot project is going to continue through June of 2023. And I'll put a link in the chat for all the youth that you know in your lives. And then finally, budget season, of course, we want to invite you all to participate in our community budget forum and hear more about the adoption of the county's new 2022-2023 budget. Last year, the board adopted a $7 billion budget, that's billion with a B, and that is now up again. So we invested more in roads, homeless services, parks, our coastal areas, climate action, and just so many more. And I'm going to send you a link in the chat again to sign up for our newsletter and get involved. Our budget forum for the community is going to be on May 23rd at 5 p.m. That's May 23rd at 5 p.m. It's going to be virtual, and that's when you can get all of the details about the budget and ask questions to county staff and to the supervisor about what's in our budget this year. And then I know that you all care about the Mira Mesa Epicenter. And so it's now planned in the county's budget as a capital project to be funded for the fiscal year 2022-2023. It doesn't actually get approved until the budget's approved. So that's another reason to attend the budget forum and to show your support via e-comment. I know Barry's been rallying some support behind that. I'm happy to answer any questions. I saw there was one in the chat.
Yeah, the question in the chat is whether the youth pass is only for youth who live in San Diego County, or whether it would be open to visiting youth who might only need it a few times.
It's only available for youth in San Diego County that I'm aware of. I'll double check and see if there's a visitor youth pass, but it's for residents of San Diego.
And residents who have grandchildren who might come and visit from out of the area?
That I'll follow up on that question. I don't think that it's eligible for them, but it's worth an ask.
Okay. Any other questions for Amanda? Okay, thank you very much. I'll go on to Michaela gave her report. City Council District 5. Denise.
District 6.
District 6, yes.
Everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Torres. I am the community representative for District 6, Councilmember Chris Kate. This last Thursday, May 12th, we had a budget town hall at the Common Theory, and we had guest speakers, which are the independent budget analysts. They came, which are Charles Modica, Jordan Moore, and Jillian Kesey, and they came and talked about the overview of the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget, which the IBAs reviewed themselves, and they talked about why is the city's budget important. I have this presentation that I can share on the chat, and if Jeff, you could probably share it to the community if you want, for both the IBA's review slideshow presentation and also from Councilmember Chris Kate's presentation. So basically, the budget reflects city policies and community priorities and allocates available funds for the city programs and services, which includes like public safety, infrastructure, parks and rec, libraries, climate action plan, code enforcement, arts and culture, homeless services, economic development and environmental services. And once you see the presentation, you can see the pie chart and the graphs and what are the numbers, like the specifics. And if you look at the presentation, and if you have any question, I can also post the IBA contact. You can reach out to them directly. They can probably answer your questions regarding the IBA review more efficiently and on point on the details. As for Councilmember Kate, he also did a presentation on the breakdown of the major budget items that we are kind of like prioritizing, which are homelessness, the library, parks and rec, public safety, real estate and airport management, transportation, and CIP. So also, again, there's a lot of numbers involved. There's like 30 something slides. So if you have any questions regarding the slides and the more specific details, please feel free to email me. I will also send that presentation of the files on the chat. Other than the budget town hall, there's an invitation to the park social lunch event in your area. And there's like a schedule of activities starting from May 21st until May 22nd. I believe that's next weekend. And also there's a park social project that's happening in July 16, September 17, and October 8. This is all free admission. I can also post the picture of the flyers for those two events. So one is a park social launch event and one is a park social event. And thirdly, we are celebrating Asian Heritage Month and Lyme Disease Awareness Month this May. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
You're gonna put all that in the chat?
Mhm. Let me post it up.
By the way, for anyone who wants to save what's in the chat, you should be able to. There are 3 little dots down at the it's different depending on whether it's saved for me automatically, but down at the lower right, there should be a way to save the entire chat. If anyone has trouble doing that, let me know and I can just email it to you. All right, any questions for Denise?
I don't have a question for Denise. I have one for Michaela. Is she still around?
No, I put her on first, so she had to go someplace by 8.
Okay, well, my main concern is that we want to put cameras in our parks to prevent vandalism and stuff. And Mara Elliott, the city attorney, has put a damper on that. And she will not release any information on why we can't put cameras in parks. So if anybody can find out when this is going to change or why we cannot put these cameras in our parks, I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Denise, can you check on that and maybe discuss with Michaela? That's interesting. So is there a privacy thing or something?
I don't know, but Denise is so overworked with all my questions all the time.
I can pipe in and tell you. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to speak over Denise. Go
But
ahead.
it doesn't really,
Go ahead.
it doesn't really make any sense. I mean, you're not guaranteed privacy anymore, except in your bathroom in your house. So anytime you're outside, there's no guarantee of privacy anywhere. So I'm sure it has something to do with all these cameras they put downtown, but to hold up, keeping our, and they're all upset now because all these shootings going on in parks. If we had cameras in all those parks, it probably would alleviate that situation a lot more. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll look into that. Kent, did you have a comment there?
Yeah, I was going to actually pipe in if it helps that the city actually had 2 ordinances back from 2020 that they put in relating to surveillance technology that the city uses. And Joe's right, it actually ties directly back to when the streetlight cameras were installed in downtown. So there's been a lot of discussion about that. And I know that in both cases, they were supposed to put together basically a board that would review the use of technology, especially when it comes to surveillance, potential. And so I think there's been a lot of holdup in terms of how they get that ordinance completed, there was a lot of discussion with city, I think, bargaining units in terms of how it would be implemented. And as you can imagine, there is a lot of technology the city utilizes that has some surveillance capacity. And so all of that has sort of come under review. So that's my best guess is what's happened is because of that ordinance back from fall of 2020.
Okay, well, we'll keep our city council office working on it. Right, Kent? And Denise? Okay, thank you. Kristen, you have a report from Miramar?
Hi there. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to cover some of the recent operations that you've probably heard over the last few weeks. We did have the Air Force here doing some exercises. They had some A-10 Warthogs and a whole bunch of F-18s and some other aircraft. So it has been, I know it has been particularly busy the last 2 to 3 weeks or so. I want to mention June 25th, Miramar is opening up to the public for a 5K run on the flight line. That will be on June 25th. And it's called Wings Over Miramar, if anybody is interested in going online and registering for that. And then air show is September 23rd through the 25th. And that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions for me.
Christian, I have a question.
Yes, Joe.
I'm planning on running in that thing. I can't find out where we have to go to start. It looks like on the road at the south end of the base, but the map on the thing says you go out on Kearneyville Road and then back on the base again. That doesn't make any sense.
So it's the Harris Plant Road exit off of Kearneyville Road. So it's south of the East Gate.
So that's
south
where
of Miramar Way.
That's where we're going to park and get out and run. And then how are we getting back to our cars?
I believe that it'll be a loop essentially, and you'll return back to you'll be back at the start where your vehicles are.
So no rides on a tank or anything?
No, sorry. We don't have any tanks anyway to give you rides on.
All right, thanks.
Thank you, Kristen. All right, are there any announcements tonight? Okay, hearing none. We'll go on to reports. For CPC, I just have one report, which is that we will be holding our elections this month for CPC officers. Wally Wolfak, who has been chair for some time now, is termed out. So the two candidates are Andrea Schlageter from Ocean Beach and Barry Schultz from Carmel Valley. So we'll have an actual election at CPC for that next month. Okay, Pam, Penasquitos Canyon.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. Okay, so Los Penasquitos Canyon Preserve Citizens Advisory Committee has our next meeting this coming Thursday at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And Craig Radke, are you on still? I see Craig.
Yes.
Wanted to check and see if that's one that you and I could both go to at the start, and then when I need to leave for my French class, you could stick around till the end of the meeting. Would you be up for that?
I should be able to do that.
Perfect, sounds good. And so that the other thing I'll report on behalf of the preserve, though, is Gina Washington, the city ranger, sent out an email alerting us to some temporary trail closures because they are spraying for that, I think it's called, I don't remember the exact name, but it's an oak borer. It's a bug that attacks the oaks. So if you want to know when you can and can't go hiking in the preserve, I'm pretty sure that's posted on the Friends of Los Penasquitos website. We should get that posted on the Mira Mesa Town Council website. Can we do that, Jeff? I've got the email. Good.
All right, is there any other business tonight?
Jeff, I'm one of those people that have been asked to kind of pass this along. The teacher of the year at Mira Mesa High School is coming up, and I want to say it's the 24th, but I can't be positive. Charlene Ellsworth called me and was looking for some help, and I had also talked to Barry. So I want to say it's 5:30 on the 24th. So I need to call back and confirm. I was looking for my paperwork, and I sent it on. So I don't know if Barry remembers that. It's in a room, I want to say room 419. So I don't know if that has helped at all, Barry, for you're finding some of those people.
So what exactly is it? I mean, are you?
Oh, they give an award to the teacher. So
Oh.
there's an anonymous donor that has donated about $3,000 to this teacher. So it's kind of a neat thing. So this person, this donor, does not want to be identified. So basically, we just know that for the last, I think Charlene said, last 3 years, this person has donated quite a bit of money. So okay, well, that's not her ability to.
Okay, well, if you send me the information, I can send it out to people, Mark.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Right, is there anything else tonight? If not, thank you, Andrew, for taking the minutes. Thank you all for coming, and we will see you next month.